everyone! Welcome back to Speak English Fluently. I'm Emma, and today we're exploring a practical, brain-friendly approach to learning English. How to train your brain so English becomes automatic, not forced, not memorized, but something your mind naturally picks up over time.
And I'm James. This is one of those topics that changes everything when you understand it. Your brain already knows how to learn language. It did that for your first language. Our job now is to create the right environment and habits so it can do the same with English. We'll walk through the science in simple terms, then give you a realistic daily plan you can start today.
Let's begin with the core idea. The brain loves patterns. When you see or hear the same pattern repeatedly, your brain flags it as important and stores it more efficiently. That's why children learn language naturally. They hear patterns everywhere. For adults, the same principle applies. If you give your brain steady English patterns, it gradually stops translating and begins producing English automatically.
Yes, and automatic learning doesn't mean no effort. It means the effort is tiny and repeated. Instead of one long, exhausting study session, it's better to do many short, meaningful exposures every day. These exposures build neural pathways that make comprehension and production faster and more natural.
So how do we give the brain those patterns? We use 7 practical strategies today. Background listening, phrase learning, repeated micro-speaking, easy repeated reading, thinking in English, spaced review, and low-pressure use. Each one is simple, but when combined and used daily, they train the brain for automatic uptake.
Let's start with background listening. Your ears are powerful learning tools. Play natural English audio while you do routine things: cooking, commuting, walking, or cleaning. Don't worry if you don't understand everything at first. Your brain is absorbing rhythm, stress, connected speech, and common phrases. Over time, those sounds stop feeling foreign and start feeling familiar.
A few practical tips. Choose material that slightly interests you. Short podcasts, easy interviews, or slow storytelling. Use the same audio a few times so your brain can notice details on repeat listens. The first listen gives you the surface. The second or third lets patterns stand out. Background listening is passive, low-pressure training for your ears.
Next, learn phrases, not isolated words. Words in isolation are fragile, easy to forget, and hard to use correctly. But phrases are ready-made chunks your brain can slot into conversation. If you learn, "Could you say that again?" or "I'm not sure I follow," your brain stores whole, usable units, not disconnected vocabulary.
When you learn a phrase, practice substituting parts of it. For example, practice "I'm not sure I follow," and then swap "I'm not sure I understand," "I'm not sure I remember," and so on. Your brain begins to see the phrase template and can generate many sentences from one pattern.
The third strategy: micro-speaking and repetition. Speak out loud every day, even for 1 or 2 minutes. Use micro-topics. Describe what you're doing. Summarize a short podcast you listen to, or explain your plan for the day. The physical act of speaking trains your mouth, tongue, and timing. Repetition trains memory. Doing this daily, even briefly, builds automatic recall.
If you feel self-conscious, practice when you're alone, in your car, while walking, or in your room. Record yourself occasionally and listen back. you'll notice patterns improve and hesitations shrink. Also, shadowing, repeating audio immediately after a speaker is excellent for rhythm and pronunciation. It trains your mimicry circuits to produce English flow.
Fourth, easy, repeated reading. Choose texts that are slightly below your top difficulty level and read them multiple times. Rereading the same story or article allows your brain to focus on structure and collocations instead of decoding unknown words. With repeated exposure, grammar and sentence patterns become familiar and automatic.
A practical habit: pick a short passage, maybe 100 to 200 words, and read it aloud 3 times in one session, spaced a few hours apart. Notice vocabulary and sentence flow change from awkward to familiar. This repeated reading is like giving your brain high-quality fertilizer. It helps the grammar and phrasing take root.
Fifth, think in English. This is the direct route to automatic production. Start by narrating tiny internal moments in English. I'm making tea. I have to reply to that email. I feel happy today. The more you think in English, the less your brain relies on translation. These thoughts are micro practices that happen throughout the day and collectively rewire your inner voice.
If you're new to thinking in English, begin with simple objects and actions. Label things in your mind in English. Describe your route or predict what someone might say. Don't worry about grammar perfection. The goal is speed of thought, not accuracy at first. Accuracy often improves naturally once your mind begins to operate in English.
Sixth, use spaced review. Memory science shows that revisiting information at increasing intervals locks it into long-term memory. Use an SRS, spaced repetition system, or a simple schedule. Review new phrases after 1 day, 3 days, a week, 2 weeks, and so on. The reviews should be short and focused. A few minutes of retrieval practice is more powerful than an hour of passive reading.
Retrieval is key. Try to recall phrases or meaning before you look at them. This active recall strengthens the memory trace. Combined with background listening and speaking, spaced review makes the brain recognize and use language automatically over time.
Seventh and crucial, keep the pressure low. Stress kills automaticity. High-pressure studying, obsessing over perfect grammar or immediate results, triggers anxiety, and your brain locks up. Instead, prioritize low-stakes practice, fun shows, short conversations, or private recordings. When the brain feels safe, it learns faster.
Let's map this into a realistic daily routine that fits a busy life. Morning, 5 to 10 minutes. Listen to an English audio while making coffee. Say 1 or 2 micro statements about your plans. Midday, 5 minutes. Read a short paragraph and repeat 1 phrase aloud. Afternoon, 5 to 10 minutes. Shadow a 30 to 60-second clip or repeat a dialogue. Evening, 5 to 10 minutes. Review 2 phrases using spaced repetition and think in English about your day before bed.
That's only about 20 to 30 purposeful minutes a day, plus passive background listening while commuting or doing chores. It's consistent but gentle, and it's exactly how the brain starts absorbing English automatically.
Now, a few deeper pointers about material choice. Pick content that you enjoy and that matches your level. Not too easy that you're bored, not too hard that you're lost. Graded readers, short podcasts with transcripts, slow conversational videos, simple news stories. These are gold. Enjoyment keeps stress low and attention high.
Use transcripts and subtitles strategically. For listening practice, try a listen-first approach. Listen without transcript, then read the transcript and listen again. This helps your brain map sound to meaning. Over time, you'll need the transcript less. That's when automatic listening is taking shape.
Another habit, context over isolated lists. When you learn a new word, don't just memorize it. Put it into a meaningful sentence or a short story. Your brain stores context more strongly than lists. If the word appears in multiple contexts, your brain forms a richer and more flexible memory of it.
Also, cultivate small social exposures. Short text chats, quick comments on English social media, or brief conversations with friendly speakers do wonders. Real human interaction gives language social meaning, and meaning cements memory. If you're shy, start with text, then move to voice messages, then to short live conversations.
Let's address a common worry. I don't have time. Many learners tell us that. The solution is micro-practice. English doesn't need huge chunks of time. 10 minutes here, 5 minutes there. Those moments add up. And because the brain learns automatically from repeated, meaningful input, these micro moments are surprisingly effective.
There's also the power of one phrase a week. Choose one useful phrase each week and make it your theme. Use it in sentences, listen for it, write it, say it, and try to use it in a conversation. By the end of the week, that phrase will feel automatic, and your brain will have learned the pattern around it.
Let's discuss mistakes. They're not signs of failure, they're signals of learning. Automatic learning requires exposure and correction through experience. When you speak and make mistakes, your brain receives feedback and adjusts. So create settings where mistakes are acceptable. Language exchanges, supportive groups, or private practice, and celebrate the small improvements.
For pronunciation, focus on rhythm and stress more than perfection of every sound. English is a stress-timed language. Patterns of emphasis matter. Shadowing and mimicking native rhythm are the fastest ways to gain fluent-sounding speech. When the rhythm is in place, the brain fills in many details automatically.
Sleep is another underrated ally. Sleep consolidates memories. If you expose your brain to English near bedtime, a short story, a podcast, thinking in English, your brain continues processing during sleep. That's one more reason to make English a gentle evening habit.
Now a simple diagnostic. After 2 or 3 weeks of this program, check your automaticity. Are you hesitating less in short sentences? Do common phrases come to mind faster? Can you follow simple dialogue without translating? If yes, your brain is moving toward automatic learning. If not, keep the routine steady. Automatic changes are often gradual and then sudden. You'll see the big leap with patience.
Tools can help, but don't rely solely on apps. Use them for spaced repetition, audio, and transcripts, but pair them with real-life speaking and listening. The brain needs both input and output to lock learning into automatic mode.
A few quick practical templates you can use right away. Morning, audio plus 2 microstatements. Midday, read plus paraphrase. Afternoon, shadow 1 minute. Evening, review plus think in English. If you do these consistently for 30 days, your brain's predictions and responses will speed up dramatically.
Another template. Choose a theme week. Focus on a theme. Travel, work, food, and collect phrases and short audio around that theme. Use those phrases every day in different contexts. The brain loves such structured repetition because it sees the same patterns across contexts and stores them more robustly. ...
Also, be kind to your brain. If you're tired, do passive listening instead of active speaking. If you're energetic, do shadowing and active conversation. The brain learns in different modes, and alternating passive and active modes prevents burnout while maximizing consolidation.
Let's be honest, motivation dips are normal. When motivation drops, return to low-friction habits. Listen to a favorite song, read a funny short piece, or tell yourself 3 English thoughts before bed. Small wins restore momentum and keep the brain primed for automatic learning.
Here's a practical mini challenge for the next 7 days. Day 1 to 2, 5 minutes morning audio plus 1 micro sentence midday. Day 3 to 4, add a 2-minute shadowing session. Day 5 to 6, reread a short paragraph twice. Day 7, review 2 phrases using spaced recall and speak them in a short voice note. That's a compact starter that primes automatic learning.
As you advance, scale gently. Add more complex audio, longer shadowing, and slightly harder texts. But always preserve the consistency and low pressure. Automatic learning scales with frequency, not force.
Finally, remember that automatic learning is not a trick. It's the brain's natural function. You're simply aligning your habits with that function. Don't get discouraged by slow days. Trust the system. Small repeated inputs will compound into big results.
To wrap up, the practical checklist: surround your life with English sounds. Learn and practice phrases. Speak micro sessions daily. Reread easy materials. Think in English often. Use spaced reviews and keep stress low. Do these consistently, and your brain will begin to learn English automatically.
Thanks for spending this time with us. If you try this plan for a few weeks, tell us how it goes. Share one small win in the comments. We love hearing those. And remember, the path to fluency is gentle, daily, and built by your brain when you give it steady patterns.
If you found this episode useful, please like, share, and subscribe to Speak English Fluently. Small habits, steady practice, and a kind mindset. That's the secret.
See you next time. Keep your English in your ears, in your mouth, and in your thoughts, and your brain will do the rest.
Keep speaking English fluently.
Keep speaking English fluently.